Hey guys, welcome back to another Towns Outdoor Adventure. Today we'll be indoors. We're going to be talking about a few things, an update on the 2023 California rock fishing season, among, surf fishing, how that's going right now, a few other things. A little bit of life update. You guys haven't seen any videos from me. It's more or less because I haven't had a computer capable of editing some videos. I got that all sorted out and everything. So more or less, here we are. Have a few things I wanted to go over today. Number one, I'm going to be talking about freshwater fishing, how that's going around here, what's going on with that. I'll be moving into the salmon season, what that's going to look like in California or lack thereof, unfortunately. Be moving to some other things. So stick around and figure it out. Hang on. All right, guys. So up here on the north coast in California, there are a lot of opportunity for steelhead fishing as far as rivers go and access. This year, it's been a little bit different. There's been a lot of storms, a lot of water. A lot of the local rivers don't turn over so well, so they've remained muddy. The Eel River had a few days. People caught a couple of fish, nothing huge. The Mad River's been dirty all season. It's been chocolate milk. It hasn't cleared. If you've been able to get up to the Smith, something like that, there has been some fishable days, so on and so forth. But really, it has been an extremely slow steelhead season around here. The Klamath has also had a couple days here and there. But overall, in general, it's been a pretty poor steelhead season, unfortunately. So with that being said, we're going to transition into what's looking like the not going to be a salmon season this year, unfortunately, as far as the ocean goes. In California, there has been some really poor numbers of returns of salmon, unfortunately. The Sacramento River is down huge. Some of the other rivers around here, the Eel and stuff, are down as well. The Klamath, unfortunately. So this year there's not going to be a salmon season in California. Not going to be a commercial one, not going to be a sports season, nothing like that, unfortunately. So with that being said, we're going to have to, as anglers and outdoorsmen, we're going to have to switch our focus and go to something else. And, running concurrently with that, Pacific halibut. So stay tuned and we'll run over that. Stick around. All right, guys, now that we've been over some bad news, let's start transitioning to a little bit of better news here. Commercial crab season. Not necessarily great news. That is the worst price of commercial guys I've seen in the last 20 years, an average of like $2.25 a pound for commercial guys. Not great. There's still some boats out there, still some guys fishing, some guys stacking some of their gear out. Some guys have given it up completely this year so far. There were some crab caught, just bad weather, not a lot of opportunities around here for guys to get out. So when they were getting out, they were fishing hard. With that being said, the sport season has also slowed down, but it's only slowed down the fact of the weather windows have gotten, terribly small this time of year. So if you can get out, report back, let us know how it's going. There's obviously still crab out there to be caught for the commercial guys. I see them every day. I work with them. So, I do know that they're pulling in numbers still. So the crab are out there. If you can get out there, go after them. And with that, let's move into surf perch. Surf perch around here, the red tail has started to be kicking on lately. I myself, I'm trying to get out next weekend to go for some surf fishing for those red tails. They're coming in. I've seen some pictures, some good reports of them coming in, so I'm going to give it a shot. I think it's going to start hitting off here pretty soon. A lot of guys just run those camo sandworms or some really small Kitex, something like that, like a 3/8 ounce jig head. We'll maybe get into setups for that when that video comes around if I get to it. So let's stick around. I'm going to get into some more in-depth regulations on the California rockfish season coming up. All right, guys, this year there's going to be a lot of changes to the California rockfish season as far as boat-based anglers go. So I'm going to read a couple snippets that I got directly from the California Department of Fish and Wildlife website, and I'll kind of explain to you guys what that means as far as I understand them. Let me preface this with saying I don't work for Fish and Game, so this is just me as an individual reading this and understanding and interpret it as I do. This video is also being shot in early March, so this is well before the season. Do your homework, read the regulations before the season comes out, make sure there's no new changes, so on and so forth. Let me read a couple of these little snippets for you guys, and then I'll explain what I think they mean. For ground fish, including rockfish, cabezon, and greenling, as well as lingcod, the boat-based seasons will bring a mix of increased and reduced fishing opportunities, depending on the species. Unlike prior years, all ground fish management areas will have a portion of the season when all-depth rock fishing is allowed, and anglers are not subject to the rockfish conservation area depth constraints. This allows new fishing opportunities for deeper water, shelf and slope rockfish, which are most abundant in areas that have been previously closed to recreational ground fishing. The following is a summary of the new boat-based regulations for the RCG species and lingcod in each management area. So to me, what that means is California is trying to protect certain rockfish species by pushing anglers to midwater fishing or deep dropping. So basically they're trying to force anglers, or not force, they're trying to, I shouldn't say force, this isn't a force by any means. They're allowing new opportunities to fish deeper water that some people typically couldn't fish before because of the depth constraints, allowing to go to new places, maybe new structure, new shipwrecks, things like that. So it's an opportunity. Let me read another little chunk here that I got off their website as well. Anglers will need to identify rockfish species they catch as the beginning of 2023 and be able to determine if the rockfish is categorized as near shore, shelf, or slope. Rockfish species as different seasons and depths apply to each category depending on the groundfish management area and month. The RCG bag limit will remain at 10 fish in the combination of rockfish, cabezon, and greenling, with sub-bag limits of not more than 4 vermilion rockfish, 1 copper rockfish, and 1 quillback rockfish. Take possession of Kauai yellow cod bronze spotted rockfish will remain prohibited. And that's for my northern management area where I live. So like I said, do your own homework. But basically what it is California is trying to create new opportunities to fish different areas to help correct the balance of rockfish in the water, in my opinion. So with that, I'm going to move on and we're going to talk about that Pacific halibut I've been waiting to tell you all about. Alright guys, so obviously there is a lot of changes in California as we've talked about in this video earlier. One of the big things is obviously no sport salmon season or commercial salmon season. So what that is going to do is going to have increased pressure on Pacific halibut, which there is a quota for in California, and there is only limited areas and places where you can find gear. Some gear is starting to sell locally at the shop that I work at. We are selling some Pacific halibut gear. We're starting to get bait in for that. So I would say if you guys are interested in going after that, be prepared, get your gear early if you need it, and be ready to go. And take advantage of those weather days when we have them and go for it. So with that being said, I'm going to move on to some different things. I'm going to show you guys a couple setups that I have and talk about little variations of the rods and reels you guys can use to kick this off and kind of just give you a little bit of idea as preparation for fishing season starts. Alrighty guys, stick around and see what I got. Alrighty guys, this is probably gonna be a little bit hard to do inside. It's raining outside, my garage isn't cleaned up. I got a million excuses. We're giving it a shot anyway. I'm gonna run over 4 rod and reel combos I have here that I use for different things. And again, this isn't like by all means the Bible or anything, to fishing. Do what's comfortable for you. This is giving people a general idea, and I'll give you some other ideas as well of popular rods or whatever. So anyway, let's get into it. I'm gonna start with one of my lightest setups I have. I use this for light rockfish, like near shore stuff. I sometimes use this setup in the surf. If I'm gonna go to the surf, I usually put this reel on like a 9-foot scimitar. But anyway, without further ado, here it is, nothing special. This right here is the Daiwa Laguna 300C reel. Nothing special. It's actually a pretty good economically priced reel, but this size 3000 reel actually has like 22 pounds of drag, which is pretty insane for something that size 3000. And this is actually on a rod I've had for a couple years. I actually think I'm going on like 4 years with it now, and it's just a good old Shakespeare Ugly Sig GX2. It's a 6.5 foot. And let's see, what is this? This is a medium heavy. This thing is awesome. I used it for California halibut before. I've hooked in some nice big lingcod. Actually, the first video I ever shot, that lingcod I caught was on this pole. It had a different reel at the time. But that's what I use. This is like my go-to. It's in the truck all the time. I take it with me to the jetty. I take it with me to the surf. It's anywhere. It's everywhere. This is my go-to. It's my baby. I love it. So with that, I'm going to switch it over and I'll show you guys the next setup. Alright guys, this next setup is going in a completely different manner. I got this for a couple different things. Number one, I got it actually as a crab snaring setup, just because it's not really ideal for that. It's not quite long enough, but it does work for me around here because I don't have to cast that far. I'm not out in the surf, so on and so forth, whatever. Anyway, This would be a great rod and reel combo for some great rock fishing, some heavy rock fishing, some deep dropping. You could get away with this rod for halibut, Pacific halibut for sure. If you're gonna do the, I don't know about the reel, it doesn't have a ton of drag. It's only got like 25 pounds for being a size 5,000 reel. And I would obviously spool it up with some different line. So with all that being said, here's this guy. This right here, this is my Penn Pursuit 4. It's a size 5,000. Again, another economically friendly reel. Not too bad on the price. Cool reel, holds a lot of line. Right now I've got it spooled up with like 50-pound multicolor braid. Just like I said, I was snaring with it, so I wasn't worried about line color and so on and so forth. So don't roast me for that. What I've got that paired on is actually this, it's a Pescaro brand rod, and it's an in-house brand that's carried by England Marine. And they're cool, they're economically friendly. This is a stiff rod. They actually market this for halibut, and this is a 7-foot medium heavy. And this bad boy's, it's pretty stout. And like I said, they're nothing special. You know, they're economic friendly, but like I said, this is one of my beef stick rods. I love this setup. It was fun. I actually caught like a 14.5 inch kelp greenling on it from the jetty the other day. I didn't have my camera with me because I didn't have a computer, so that was kind of a bummer. With that being said, moving on to the next combo. All right, guys. So moving on to this one, I would call this one more of like a boat combo. This is for sure something you could do trolling, something like that. It would work for halibut. You know, if you're gonna go for Pacific halibut, I would switch the reel size. I wouldn't switch the reel. You could bump it up a size or two. Right now it's a smaller size reel I got for rock fishing from a boat for one trip I did a long time ago. I still have it with me. I still bring it on the kayak sometimes. I don't use it a ton. Not that there's anything wrong with it. I've just, you know, I prefer other methods. But with that being said, try to show you guys everything you can do. So here's another shot. This guy right here, it's a Penn Squall 200 LW, or sorry, 20 LW. It's a 20 LW. I don't know off the top of my head how much pounds of drag this guy has. Right now, I think I've got it spooled up with 40-pound 40-pound Power Pro on there. And this is a super heavy rod. You know, like I think I picked it up off a clearance rack at one of the local stores. And it's a Liquid Sticks brand. It's a 7-foot, and it's rated for like 30 to 80-pound line. You know, again, pretty stiff. I fished with it a couple times, taking down Shelter Cove and stuff. It's a little better served down there where there's larger fish. Up here, when I'm, you know, a little more near shore, this is, again, a bit of overkill. But, you know, like I said, wanted to show you guys something and another option. There's absolutely nothing wrong with this. It's fishable. It's great. I take it out to the slough in some of those videos. It's been one of the rods you guys might or may not have seen in one of those previous videos. So that being said, let's move on to my personal favorite setup, just because it fits what I do and what I like most. Alrighty guys, without further ado, here is my all-time favorite setup I've had in, well, I guess forever. So this is something, it fits my fishing style great. I do a lot of near shore, off the kayak, jigging, or from the shore, smaller, you know, smaller rockfish in general, so on and so forth. Maybe some small sharks, things like that. So this jigging setup is great for what I do, and that's why I love it. So starting it off, I gotta be careful of this one a little bit here. And I got the Okuma Coldwater LP with the line counter. I wasn't really looking for a line counter, but I tell you what, it's come in handy. I like it a lot actually, more so for casting back to certain spots when I'm actually on land and checking depth if for some reason my fish finder's on the fritz or something. And I've got this guy on a rod that I had a Finwick HMX, and there was a mishap with me and my buddy and a shark, and broke that rod. So I ended up with this one as a replacement, and I tell you what, I really like it. It's, again, you know, all being said and done, as far as rods go, this is an economical friendly rod too. I think it was like 100, 120 bucks, something like that. And this is a Shimano SLX, and it's rated for like 30 to 65 pound. It's 7.5 foot, and it's a heavy. And this thing has been awesome. I loved rock fishing with it last year. I loved California halibut fishing with it last year. Taking it to the slough in these previous videos, catching those fish has been awesome. And I think at the time I paid like 180 bucks for this reel, and I think nowadays you can pick them up for like 115, 120 bucks, which is awesome. I would buy another one of these again in a heartbeat. I've had it for a couple years now, and it's just phenomenal. I love it. This is my go-to setup. Of course, there are many other rod and reel combos out there. Don't be set on these. These are just ideas to give you what I'm fishing with. These are for me and my setup on my kayak. These lengths work great for me. The actions work great for me. The power ratings work great for me. Again, it's more of a personalized touch to what you guys are doing. This is just what I'm doing, what I'm running, kind of putting you guys in the loop of what I got. Alrighty, guys. Well, that's it for now. Stick around for